Hello. Hey, hey, hey.
Greetings to you.
Oh my God. How are
Oh,
you?
I'm splendid. I'm loving this. I'm loving this energy today, and I'm loving the color that you got on. You're so colorful right now.
Right?
Oh man, the whole rainbow on you.
Say it again.
The whole rainbow is on you.
Yes, yes. I have my story with colors. You know,
hmm
I have my story with colors. I can't choose one, so I gotta have all of it. So,
Mm. What's the story with colors? When it comes to color consciousness. Having just to be able to be conscious and intentional about the colors that you don, because you have many different colorful fits, and I feel like they all say something about you. So what is that with?
it's funny that I'm associating with colors because I used to be the one that wears black.
Okay. Okay.
I used to
hmm
be the one that was like the closest color I come to was like marine blue, the
hmm
blue that looks like black.
yeah.
Um, so then, the more I get to know myself, the more I find out like, oh, I like colors actually,
hmm
you know. So I've tried one color. It doesn't. I like the color green, but I've never wear green. It
okay.
doesn't. It's just I just can't wear one color. It's just weird. So I
I don't
think
think
I've
it's
got my.
weird.
Mhm. You don't think it's weird?
No.
No, okay, okay. Because I know some people, they like one color and then they can go with that color.
yeah.
But for me, it was more like, okay, I need to learn how to like colors.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what color do I like? I like green, because I like nature.
hmm
But it's just that the green color gives me, like sense of calmness.
hmm
And it's not necessarily that I like to wear the color green, but it just gives me a sense of calm. So
okay.
I've learned that. And then color red is like, oh, it's like, it's just too much and I can't wear just red. So,
Oh, it's
but
too fiery.
yeah, it's just too much. It's just not me. I don't like people to see me, but at the
hmm
same time, I'm there.
Oh, like the kind of like the lady in the red dress in the Matrix. That was one of the programs. The lady in the red dress. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
It's very out there. It pops at you. It pops.
exactly. So red means stop. Like,
Okay.
you have to stop. When you see red, you just stop. That's why they use it on a marketing.
Okay.
When it's a sale or everything is like red, 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 because it stops you, you know?
Mm. Yeah, that's true. We do have like Target. There's also different marketing when it comes to the color red. There's a lot of color psychology. You're right.
hmm
Yeah.
Color, the traffic light, red means
hmm
stop.
hmm hmm
So yeah, so when I wear red, it's like I'm stopping people. So I don't want to stop them. So I like to wear, different colors, and you can
hmm
see the all of the colors at once, and I love that.
Yeah.
So that just became part of me.
What's your favorite color, Camilla?
I used to think it was green, but
Mm.
I think all the colors are my favorite because they give me a different. Uh, they make me feel different.
Mm.
Like green makes me feel calm.
hmm
Um, Blue, I associate blue with cleanse. You
Mm.
know, it's just like I can wear something blue when I feel like I need some energy cleanse. Some people
hmm
wear white, but I will wear blue, for example.
hmm hmm
So I don't have a favorite color. I love all the colors.
hmm But you no longer just strictly wear black. You said you used to have a time period in your life where black, that was your color.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since
What?
from I was 13,
hmm
when I started realize what the world was about. So it was more like, okay, let me just wear, just one solid color.
Yeah.
And it actually represents, whatever I wear actually represent in the situation I'm feeling within.
Mm.
Somehow I just feel like, the reason why maybe I'm wearing a lot of colors right now because that's how I feel on the inside.
hmm
So if I think about the color, the time period that I was wearing those just dark colors was the
hmm
time that I was trying to find out who I am, what I am, and all of that. So
Mm.
I would just wear that because that's more like comfortable, it's acceptable, it's just black,
hmm
you know.
Mhm.
But if I wear like colors, it was more like, okay, now people can see me, I can be judged. Do I want to express myself in this way, you know? So I think it represents the journey itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
So from
journey.
14 to 22, I was wearing just dark colors.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was your mindset back then? Can you talk about like what kind of feelings you were feeling, or what kind of things that you emoted back then when you wore those dark colors? Like what was when you said you were finding yourself, you know?
Yeah. You know, I would like to think that I've had like small awakenings around, you know, in my life,
Mm-hmm.
like different awakenings, where I'm waking up to different things, you know. One thing is like waking up to spirituality itself, but for me, it was like more like waking up to, oh, this is me. I am actually a human being, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, or maybe like, you know, waking up to just your identity,
Mm-hmm.
you know, who you are, right? So those times when I say like I was looking for myself,
Mm-hmm.
like I was literally looking for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and wearing those, you know, when I was wearing the dark clothes, I can think it was representing me being in a dark hole trying to find out
Mm.
who I am, basically. And it's not necessarily, you know, spiritual, you know,
Right.
finding. It was more like, you know, knowing who I am as a person.
Mm.
For example, you know, do I like wearing black clothes, and why do I like wearing black clothes? You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was more like I was hiding,
Okay.
if that makes sense. You know, I was more hiding.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came out to the colors, it was like, okay, accepting myself a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I don't care if, you know, if somebody sees me wearing yellow, you know, it's that kind of, I don't know how to explain it. I've never actually talked about the colors and how colors actually came to my life, but
Mm-hmm.
everything is the same. You know, anything that comes into my life is part of my internal journey, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you'd say you were discovering, in a way, pieces of your personality,
Hmm.
pieces of who you are as a person, as an individual.
Yes, I don't want to make it like a long talk, but like for example, I can give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was adopted when I was 5,
Mm-hmm.
right? And by the time when I was 5 till I was 9, I woke up to who I was. You know, it's like, oh my God, you know, I remember my family, for example,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was one type of awakening for me. And then I've started on a journey where I had to find out who I am, meaning like, you know, where I'm from, my
Yeah.
parents, and stuff like that, right? So it was kind of like searching for something, basically my identity.
Yeah.
Uh, and around when I was mm, 11, I went on a journey of finding that. So I left.
Okay.
Literally, like at the age of 11, I left the
Yeah.
family that I was with to find out where I came from.
Mm.
And at the age of 13, I found out. And then it wasn't actually what I was looking for.
Mm.
You know, when I found out who I was, you know, my parents, and I'm like, okay, now I'm not whole. You know, something's still missing. So then I went into the religion
Mm-hmm.
to find myself. Like, okay, maybe I need a religion to feel complete. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came to the religion, and I went into the Islam. I went into the Christianity, you name it.
Yeah.
And reading about those things again, it was like, I'm still not whole, you know? I'm still not whole. And then the journey just continued. I'm here, you know?
Yeah.
After finding all of that, that didn't make me whole. So it's just like, okay, where do I find that? What I'm looking for, you know? And it's just within, you know, it just comes out every day. So,
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that, you know, that search, that journey of discovery, that journey of finding, of looking, of yearning. I feel like we all intuitively, we all kind of have that journey of
mhm.
self-discovery, of self-realization, of finding. And then I also love the key words that you use when you talk about remembering. And there's even a post that you put up, Kamilla, and it said how we're all trying to find ourselves, you know, find yourself. And you said something about how you're not just a $10 bill in like a winter coat pocket, you know, like you're not lost,
No, you're
you know,
not lost.
you're not lost.
Yeah.
And you talked about returning to yourself.
Hmm.
I love that.
It is actually that. That's all it is, you know. That's all it is, because we're not lost.
Mm.
Well, I used to think I was lost,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my identity, everything about me. Like, I didn't even know the day I was born.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't even know my birthday. So that's how lost I felt like. And it's just like, I wasn't actually, you know, when I find out everything, it's just like, it's not completing me. It's not making me like, you know, the complete person that I think I would be when I was searching, you know. But then I realized, I'm not lost. I'm just, you know, going through the journey.
Yeah.
It is a journey. There's no destination. It's just like a journey.
Mm-hmm.
It is a
Right.
journey. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. When you think of that complete person that you might think you would be, you know, that whole complete person, who do you see?
The completion actually is the journey itself.
Okay.
You know, like, you know, the story that I just told you right now about myself, that whole journey is the completion, you know.
Mm.
It's like, okay, if I wouldn't change anything right now. I wouldn't change anything of my journey, like everything I've experienced and where I am today. I just know that's the journey itself, and it's, you just complete as you accept it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it's fun. Literally,
Yeah.
it's just fun, you know. It's like, okay, knowing that there is no end,
Mm-hmm.
and you can actually just create and become and do and whatever, you know. It's more fun than knowing like, okay, hey, you're gonna die and there's a hell and heaven, you know. It's just gonna be a judgment. It's like, are you gonna be excited, or are you gonna have anxiety about that, you know?
Right. Right.
So knowing that there's no judgment, you know, there's no right and wrong, and that's just a freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you made the choice. You made the choice to see it as a fun journey. Like, this is fun. I'm
Yeah.
just, yeah.
And it is choices that you can make every day that makes a journey, you
Yeah.
know. The outcome of your journey is the choices you make every day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, make that choice that's aligned with you every day, and then the journey will be joyous, you know. It's become fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's one of the choices that you can think back, and if you had not chosen this one choice, maybe this was like a crossroads for you, but if you had not made this choice, things would have been drastically different today?
Hmm. That's a difficult one, actually, because I have made so many, you know, messed up choices. I have made right choices and bad choices. You know, all of them together have just become what I am. You know, it's not like this choice would have changed it.
Hmm.
You know, but I could say if I didn't make a choice and I just, you know, I don't know. If I didn't make any choices, then that would affect. But making any choice that I made, no, I don't know actually.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
It's, I mean, you could, I mean, we can let that marinate. For me, it was going to California.
Okay.
So my exodus from you know, a relationship that I was in that had been the longest lasting, and
Mm-hmm.
I was actually with she was a Cancer and also a Libra as well. She was a Cancer and Libra,
Okay.
and we were together for like 10 years, like high school sweethearts, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and we never even imagined how our choices would lead us to the outcome, like how that the causes would become the effects, that we would reap everything that we sowed, like all the consequences, the everything came back, you know, and it
Mm-hmm.
came full circle. And that led us to the point where we had almost trauma bonded and neither one of us knew how to let go.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had not taken that leap and we had gone our separate ways, I don't know who I'd be today, you know?
Yeah,
Because I was making so many choices unconsciously, without awareness. I lacked so much in the realm of just, you know, what I was doing and what I was pursuing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That, yeah, I don't know who I'd be today if I was still in that same situation. So that would be mine. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you think of yours now?
Yes, that actually helps. Thank you. Oh, yes. You know, I think the choices, because if I also stayed in, even though I was making choices, if I stayed in those choices, my life would have turned out differently. So I think the day I decided to sit still with myself, you know, meditation.
Okay.
So the choice of meditation have actually changed me.
Mm-hmm.
So if I didn't make that decision on sitting still with myself, I wouldn't make a lot of the choices that I have made. It made me sit down and actually make the right choices that I need to make. So when I decided to do meditations consistently, that's what changed me.
And it sounds like not only the choices that you decided to make, but the choices that you did not make, you know,
Yeah.
that also had a role to play, it seems.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. So when did you discover meditation, Kamilla?
You know, it's always been there, you know, since, you know how when people mess up stuff, how they always turn into religion. You know, they try to become a good person. Apparently, you know, becoming a good person is like, you know, being religious. I have seen in a lot of religions like that, that when people feel like, oh my God, I messed up, I need to, you know, turn to God. For me, it was more like meditation music. So I would go to sleep listening to those meditation music. It's just like instrumental thing. And I never look on the screen. I never, you know, knew what kind of practices that was. I just liked the music. And then one day I just closed my eyes and I said, okay, let me sit down instead of laying down. And it became a meditation. So
Spontaneously?
yes.
So you just found it like by accident?
Yes. And then I searched and I looked into everything and I'm like, oh, meditation. And then it was like astral projections and out of your body experience. And, you know, I just went deeper and deeper. And then, yeah.
Wow. So you've had OBEs?
Was that?
You've had OBEs?
What is OBEs? You know,
Oh,
English is.
I'm sorry. Out of body experiences.
Yes. That accidentally a lot of times, you know. I used to say, every time I try, I'm floating above the roof. And it's like I'm stuck there. I don't go beyond there. So I stopped doing it. It's just like always like I go up, I go out the roof,
Yeah.
and I'm just there. It's like I don't go further. So I stopped doing that. And now actually my normal meditations are out of body experience, kind of. Because I'm not
Did it,
here when I'm meditating. I'm not here.
you're elsewhere.
Yes.
Okay. What?
It sounds different, but it's the truth. Like literally when I sit down, it's like I buckle up and I'm gone.
It's like your vehicle, your spaceship. You've taken yourself to another plane.
Yep. You know, the body is just a tool anyway, so the consciousness can.
Did it freak you out the first time? Like, did you come out of your body or just pop out one time and say like, whoa, what's going on here? Or was it just natural?
It freaks me out each time actually till today.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But in a way, when I'm meditating right now, it just became a normal thing. So I don't even think about it. It's just like I sit down, I'm gone. While the other ones, it was like a process. You're going through a process, and then you're going up, and I'm always up, like looking down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people can move, around here, but for me, it's like more up, and I don't have any control anymore.
Okay.
So I don't know. I haven't gained that yet.
But you feel like you could with more confidence? You feel like you could?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I can be right here and then come to your room. Really, and observe your room.
That's like remote viewing kind of, right?
Kind of.
Okay. How is that different than astral projection?
How I see it, I don't know about other people's opinion. The remote viewing, it's more you're not focused on your body. You don't see the body. I see more like I set my focus on the vision itself, like seeing it and analyzing it. So I'm like all over the place like that. While the out of body is just like I'm just focusing on the body itself, actually.
Okay.
So it's like focusing on the body, and then the body, it's just like you're levitating.
Yeah.
Somehow. So you're not focusing on anything else but the levitation itself, While the other one is like, oh my God, I can see it, I can see it, I can see it. And so I'm trying to capture everything that I can see, basically.
Do you only have a small window to capture?
I do. It's just a small window. Like if I capture your wall is orange, okay, and I see, next to it, something else is next to it. It goes so fast. So you have to capture it. Wow. At least that's how it works for me.
Wow. I've heard that there's with our astral body and our body, I've heard that there's like a silvery cord. Is that true? Do you ever see anything like that tethering you to your body or a cord or anything?
Not necessarily. I can see a whole light, but I don't see no cord.
Okay. So no cord.
But I can see the light. Like,
yeah.
Actually, since I was a kid, I used to see that. But it wasn't... When I was little, they used to think like I was crazy, like to talk to myself and stuff. But I used to actually see a light. And when I meditate, I actually see that kind of light as well. Even like if I go in a remote view, I see a light.
Where is it emanating?
It's normally, when I meditate, it's here, but when I'm actually out, it's around me. I can see in front of me. It's not from me, it's around me. I don't know if it's the light that's showing me around, but I don't know. It's not me at that time.
So it's not like part of your aura. It's not your light. It's a light coming from somewhere.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, when I was 11, I forgot a lot of the things that I actually used to see. I don't know why it just stopped at 11. But yeah, I used to talk about those lights.
Why did you stop talking about them?
They disappeared.
Oh, okay.
They disappeared on a daily basis. And then, just like a dream, sometimes when you wake up and you want to tell the dream,
yeah,
and you forget. Sometimes it's in your head and you just can't get it out.
Yeah.
Most of those things are like that.
Like if we don't write them down. That's what happens to me usually. If I don't write down the things that happened in the astral realm, in my dreams, like they usually fade away like that. Yeah.
If I don't write down immediately when I meditate, it just goes away. So I have to write down when I meditate. Otherwise I won't remember. It's just like a dream. It's just like a dream.
So you make that another practice, writing it down right after you meditate. Yeah.
Oh, I have to.
Yeah.
I have to. Sometimes I actually also have books. and then I can just open the page, you know, and I meditate, and then I open that page and read that page. It's normally like aligned with my meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a fun way to read, actually, books that you want to read.
Yeah.
But I choose the pages just randomly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Nabiha, it's like, and when we talk about astral projection, remote viewing, you know, out of body experiences, all these different things that we can do. Some people call them gifts. Some people call them talents. Some people call them natural abilities that are innate. What do you feel like they are?
Natural abilities.
Okay.
Natural abilities, absolutely. It's all about remembering actually what you're capable of. If you remember just who you are and what you are, you know, all of these things are already within you. You know, the only thing that's trapping us is the fact that we actually think that we are this.
So it's the mind.
Yes.
There's
nothing else. That's like, we are capable of everything, but the limitation is in the mind. Yep. You know, every time you tell yourself, "Oh, I can't do it,"
right?
You can't do it.
Right.
It's the truth. You can't do it because you said you can't do it. You know,
right.
Whatever you accept also becomes part of you. You know.
I find this fascinating. You know, there was so many studies, and there's even schools set up today teaching children how to read blindfolded. And so little kids are putting on these thick, like dark coverings where I mean, you would think that you're in a dark room. There's no light. You can't see anything past the black mask. And these kids are taught how to read, how to play, how to draw, how to write, all these things. And they're doing it without their eyes, you know? And some people are saying they're using their third eye. Some people are saying that there's pores and portals in every cell of their body they're able to see from. And you can hold something even behind their head and they can see it and know what it is.
Yeah.
And they said that between these ages, you know, between the ages that you were talking about, before the age 11, those are the best years to be able to develop this, because you haven't yet fully formed or developed the left side, the logical mind, the analytical, the questioning nature of, am I doing this or am I not doing this? Is this real? Is this not real? Is this possible? Is this not possible? And you haven't been told no by other people so many times that you just believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true, because whatever that's making us not do what we are capable of doing is what life have taught us. Where you have been told, you know, where you can and where you cannot. And then you believe in it, and then, you know, you actually like making the ability disappear by just believing in it. You know, if somebody told you, hey, you are, you know, slower than others and you don't learn as fast as others, you know, automatically you become slow. You know, you don't tell people like that. So society is actually to trap you somehow. You know, if somebody is lacking something that somebody else is, you know, good at, it's just because of the other person have focused more on it, you know? I have this belief that since I was a kid, I never believed anybody on this planet is smarter than me. Like, I don't think they are capable of doing something I'm not capable of. It's just that I have just not put focus on it. I just don't want it. You know, if I wanted to put my focus on just that, since the other person was able to do it, I am able to do it.
Right.
That's all I need to know. But do I want to do it? The choice is up to me, you know. But if I believe that somebody else have done it, and the reason why they have done it, they are smarter than me, then I'm trapping myself in a different way.
Okay. Yeah.
Because nobody's smarter than you. It's just that, you know, they chose that. More focus on that, you know.
Yeah. They chose that field of expertise, you know, that was their focus. They chose to
Absolutely.
put forth their energy into that area.
Hmm. That's all it is. Nobody knows anything better than you. We're all on this search, you know. And the more you dive in within yourself, because the path is within. So the more you go this way and not that way,
Yeah.
you'll find some answers. But the
Yeah.
answers, the real ones are just on the outside, so it's like easier for people to accept them,
Hmm.
because it's tangible. We can see it, we can feel it, we can hear it. And it's
Right.
like so easier to just accept it. But when somebody tells you like, hey, just go dive within to see, what are you capable of? What can you do? What can you not do?
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Kamilla, it's so cool that you were able to remind yourself and have that foundation of knowing that you are just as capable as anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And that the only defining difference was where you placed your focus,
Yes.
that you just, like they said, we all have the same capacity. Yeah.
Yeah. There's one person that said the same one day, and I'm like, oh my God, we have something in common. And that was, what's his name? Bill Gates.
Mm.
He said, nobody's smarter than me out here, you know? And I said, me too, we share that. We share that belief. I don't think you're smarter than me. I'm just not focused on, Microsoft as you are. But
Right.
it's just, that's what it is. I found out the hard way. I'm always looking, to become something else. And I remember even like choosing education, it was like, sitting in the office will make you feel like anything. And then when I sat in the office, I'm like, oh my God, this is not what I want.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to think
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want, and that I know more if I do that. But you just you.
Yeah.
Mika, go ahead, Ifra.
Is that what you called finding out the hard way?
Um, Not only that, but finding the hard way. I mean, like that I believed in everything else outside of myself
Mm-hmm.
until I actually, have to accept that. No, that's not how it is. It's not like that's the hard way. If someone tells you, you know, that's something else. But finding out on your own, that's something.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean by hard way.
Yeah. Yeah. You reminded me just now, as I was growing up, from being a child to my adolescence, I had so much programming surrounding a diagnosis where
Mm-hmm.
they said that, oh, you have ADHD.
You used to have that too.
And that shaped, like you said, it shaped the way that I viewed myself, you
Yeah.
know? It shaped the way that I functioned and interacted with others. It shaped the way that I became envious and jealous of others' success, their ability to focus, their ability to just do it, their consistency, their persistency, and, that my idea of perfection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I remember all the shelves that had volumes of books. So your son has ADHD. How to deal with a difficult boy. How to do this, how to do that, And so I was having even more subconscious programming letting me know that there's a problem here.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is me. I'm the problem.
Yeah.
So that's how I walked throughout life. And it just became like my narrative until the day came when I had an auntie of mine and I had an altercation with one of my cousins. And my aunt, she told me when I pointed to one of the books on the shelf as if that was my excuse.
Yeah.
She said, boy, don't you ever, you know, give that as a reason for your actions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's forever, that changed me. It didn't change me right then, but it changed me. She planted a seed, you know? She
Yeah.
planted a seed in my mind that, wow, maybe I do have a choice. You know, maybe I'm not as lost as I think I am. Maybe I'm not what they say I am.
Yes.
You know, so how did that resonate for you?
Ooh, that, I like to think, I said I was adopted when I was 6.
Mm.
So I like to think I was on my own since then, you know? So I didn't have anybody telling me things to do. Literally, like nobody even told me how to shower, okay? Um, so believing in what people say meant a lot to me,
Mm.
like fishing for some things that people are saying so I can take it with me.
Mm.
So for example, I didn't have a parent that would tell me, an aunt or something like that would tell me things that would change. But I was always sitting on a corner somewhere, when somebody says something, and then I would take that with me.
Mm.
So I remember, about water, for example, there was this lady, I think I was 16 or something, and she looked very young. So I asked her, how are you 60 and you look this young? And then
Mm-hmm.
she said, I drink that water. I let my water overnight. I program the water, and that's what I do. And I remember that changing my life. I said, "Oh, can you program your water?" And she said, "Yes, you can program your water, and then have this water to heal you and do whatever you want for you." So I remember taking that with me, and like every time I wanted something, anything I want in life, I would always program my water.
Mm.
And then drink it and be like, okay, it's gonna become. So that had changed my life in a way where I can program whatever I want, but it
Mm-hmm.
didn't come from a family member or anything like that, but it came from a person that I just heard. And then I
Yeah.
remember, since I left my family when I was around 12,
Mm-hmm.
um, they had, of course, they had some beliefs about me, what I would become, and a lot of things. And by them saying those words, I chose the opposite.
Mm.
So similar to you, like realizing, like, okay, that's not what I am.
Right.
Let me change that. I remember that changing my life, and then anything else that somebody tells me, it was just like naturally I would resonate with it and
Mm.
go from there.
Wow. Wow. I love
But
that.
when it comes to my son, for example,
Yeah. With
um,
Mickey.
yes, he's very active,
Mm-hmm.
and diagnosing them isn't a thing that I do,
Mm-hmm.
because I know if I tell him like, "Hey, that's what you have," that would be an excuse. Like, I did this because of
Mm-hmm.
I'm active kid and this. So it's just those are things that they just made up.
Mm-hmm.
They made they made up a lot of things. But one thing I know for sure is like whatever you're told, you become.
Mm.
Unless you choose different, because my thing was, I knew this wasn't for my favor, like when my previous family said, oh, this is what she will become because of she's on her own, you
Mm.
know I knew that wasn't for the best interest, for me. So
Right.
that's why I had to choose the different. So
Right.
it's like whatever they say, choose that different, whatever they say, choose the different. And then life became actually like that for me after a while.
Mm.
Whatever I was taught by society, let me choose the different.
Yeah. Yeah. You did the opposite. Let
Mhm.
me choose
I do
some.
to today.
Yeah.
I do the opposite today.
Yeah.
Everything. They say
Yeah.
drink a gallon of water. I won't drink it. You know. They say maybe to work out. You know, like for example, eat an apple. I don't
Mm-hmm.
eat apples.
Mm.
I don't. I just don't eat apples because they told me to eat apple. An
Oh,
apple a day.
yeah. Okay. Because they said do it, you said no. I'm not gonna do that. I see. I see that. I see. So,
I have. Yeah.
so whenever it comes to like Mickey and raising your children, whenever they do things and you understand like their actions, how do you show them without labeling? How do you illustrate that? Yeah.
To be honest, I talk straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't sugarcoat anything. I tell them straightforward what it is. And like you know, whatever the society would say, like, you know, you have learning disorder, for example, or something like that. I would, I would just let them know, like, hey, you maybe, you know, you're not, maybe you don't like to read, maybe you like to write, you know. It's, you know, something else, because of, if you give a person or children some lack, you know, they will lack that. You
Right,
actually creating it, you know.
right, right.
It's like me telling them what their problem is literally creating that problem,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So just make it positive, you know, turn it into something else. Actually, he asked me yesterday, like, he said about hell and heaven, you know, if I do this, I'm gonna get to hell, you know, things like that. How do you explain to a child? How do you say, like, hey, you know, if you say there is no hell, it's like everybody, the whole planet believes in that. So what do you mean it's no hell? You know, it's like a fire, he said. It's
Mm.
like burning fire, you know? How do you delete that?
Yeah.
You know? It exists in their head, it exists, you know. So those kind of things, I don't know how to make it positive, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I enjoyed what you said, Kamilla, when you talked about, okay, maybe you don't like to read, maybe you like to write. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's so many different forms of intelligence. You know, there's not just one form of intelligence, it's like, you know, there's, like, of course, you see the mathematic, you see the reading, you see the writing, you see the spatial awareness, you see the kinesthetic, you know,
Mm-hmm.
form of intelligence with people with movement, with sports, and all sorts of different, like, there's so many, there's not just one, you know.
Yeah. Just like, what was it? Albert Einstein said, if you judge a fish by its ability to swim, you will forever live like believing that it's stupid, right? It's the same thing. Like, we have a society, we live in a planet where everybody has to do the same things. They have
Mm,
to, you know, be the same, or
mm,
at least come close to it. And if you're not like the majority, something is still wrong with you.
mm,
You know, it's like, if even if the stupidest thing, if enough people are doing it, it's a good thing. You know, it's a
mm,
normal thing. And it's just, you know, believing that you have to be like everyone else, and, you know, always wanting that validation. And, you know, that's what makes people just miserable and everything. But other than that, everybody's unique on their own. They have an ability to do something that someone else cannot do. So if everybody was cherished for what they are doing, then it wouldn't be anybody that feels lacking, you
mm,
know. But it's like, you do that and you don't know how to do this, now you're dumb, you
mm,
know. Now you're less than everyone else, because everyone else is good at, you know, mimicking,
mm.
you know. It should be the opposite, you know. If you don't like to mimic, you're unique, you know.
Right, right. It's like you said with the fish. You know, a good friend of mine told me, when we're trying to make people do things that, you know, that they're not inclined to do, it's like a monkey grabbing a fish out the water and climbing a tree so that the fish doesn't drown, you know.
Oh my God. Yes, yes, that's a good one. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
it's like, let me save you, you know. Yeah.
No, it's not the monkey's job, right?
Right, right. The fish is doing what it's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's doing what's within its nature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think we all do, you know. Another thing is also, you know, in order for you to grow, you have to be in the right environment, you know, just like plants,
Mm-hmm.
you know. You have to, anything around you, it's also shaping you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the information from people, what people are telling you, you
Absolutely.
know, all of that shapes you. So, like, again, it's just choices, you know.
Yeah.
You got to make the choice to actually get from a toxic place to a, you know, more peaceful place, because you
Yeah.
find that peaceful.
And I also would love to touch on not only the toxic place, but being around toxic people, like a toxic person or an individual that might not inherently be toxic, but having toxic thoughts that they're projecting in a toxic way. So going back, Kamilla, to the scenario of the boys and girls at these schools where they have them in London and India and different places in the world learning how to read blindfolded.
Mm-hmm.
There was a situation where there was a girl and the lady was having the girl read, you know, with her blindfold mask on, and she was reading the words in this book, this children's book, and her dad, her father, who was a non-believer of this, he just kind of was taking her to the school, just paying for the, you know, the education. He didn't believe in any of this stuff. He was kind of sitting a ways back, away from her and the instructor.
Mm-hmm.
And so he kind of like looked away from his cell phone for a second. It piqued his curiosity when he heard his daughter reading these words, even though she had this big old mask on, right? And so he's like thinking to himself, she can't possibly, huh? And so he got up and he started moving towards his daughter, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he got close,
Mm-hmm.
the little girl didn't even know he was moving towards her. She just said, my vision is gone. As soon as he came within her distance, within her, you know, her chi space, as it were, her energy field, she said, I can't see anymore. Like, my vision is gone. And then the instructor, the lady, asked the father to, you know, to step back, and he stepped back, and her vision returned.
Yes.
So what does that say to you? Yeah.
Well, I'm a big believer of that, you know. I really believe that, you know, everything around you, and or let's say whatever you believe, actually you can create, you know. It's believing in it. You know how they always talk about manifesting, and, you know, you have to believe in order for that to become, right? So, like, for example, if I'm manifesting and the person is not believing, but they just think, you know, like, oh, let's just see if I write down, it's going to happen, right? It doesn't happen, right? So I believe that the person that doesn't believe coming close to you can actually mess up. For example, we can take an example of my dry fast. Okay. When I'm dry fasted, if I don't share with my family, it goes smooth.
Yes.
It's fine.
Likewise. Likewise.
I tell somebody, and it's just like, just even their thought. Okay, they don't even have to say anything because I've said so much, like, stop, don't say anything to me. So now even their thinking patterns can affect me. Like, if they think like, oh, you didn't eat and you're not drinking, or you're not, you know, that only just affects me, and it puts a block. It makes my fast harder. While I'm normally, you know, I can go days without drinking and eating, because of my mind is set on something else. And I know I'm capable of it because this is just my natural being. But by the time somebody who don't believe that comes in, it messes up my whole flow.
Wow.
It's opinions, it's beliefs, and words are strong, you know. You know, even if you don't verbalize it, just having it and that sitting like dormant in your system, you know, it's just, you're blocking a lot of things. Your belief system blocks a lot of blessings from you.
It reminds me of when I saw this movie, and the movie was called The Secret.
Oh, yeah.
And The Secret, it was talking about, you've seen this one?
Oh, yeah. That was one of my first awakening things that I went into. I had that little orange book, and yeah.
Yeah, Rhonda Byrne's The Secret. And so this movie illustrated, in this scene, they had people, and there was this guy on the street, and he was in traffic. You know how there's a lot of traffic, you know, in California. So he got out of his car and he was yelling and honking at the cars in front of him. And it showed like these waves of energy lifting up off his body as he was in anger and hurling, you know, these accusatory like words and expletives at people. All of this energy was reverberating off of his body.
Yeah.
And it was like his thoughts, his energy, like his thinking, like everything that he was projecting was coming back to him. And so I love the thought that our thoughts are actually, they actually have a weight to them. It
Oh yeah.
seems like we're just not able to see them like on the visual eye spectrum, but they're actually physical things when they go out.
I believe that.
Okay.
I truly, truly believe that. That's why you have to be very careful with what you admit,
Mm-hmm.
the energy that comes out of you. I think also, whatever energy that you're actually putting out comes to you as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a signal.
Mm-hmm.
So you attract that. But if you have that nasty energy within yourself as well, you only attract that kind of frequency, So whatever you are on the inside, that's what you're on the outside.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah.
just imagine if you really, really want to change, like, let's say, like, change somebody,
Mm-hmm.
okay, which I don't recommend changing somebody, which is not possible, but you can change yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And by, changing yourself, you actually radiating that energy of change
Yeah.
outside. And then everything around you actually changes just the way you want it to change.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of going on the outside and thinking you can fix it on the outside, you have to fix it on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then that energy comes back to you. So it's true, like when somebody has negative energy, wherever they go, they bring that frequency with them.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't believe that those frequencies can affect me, because
Mm.
I'm a different frequency. We are not on the same radio level,
Right.
It's
Right.
like you're on this channel, and I'm actually on a Wi-Fi channel, because I don't want to I don't want to deal with that. So radiating above a certain frequency,
Mm-hmm.
also it's how you're aligned on the inside,
Mm-hmm.
with your own frequency,
Mm-hmm.
because you're the only one that drags your frequency lower by, giving attention to a lower frequency. For example, it's like you coming down.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I believe everybody has the energy that they shoot out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And speaking of taking care of what's within, what's inside, do you still program your water today?
Yes,
Yeah.
every day. Yes.
Walk us through, like, what would be something that you would do to program it? Like, what would be some words that you would say?
I would actually, normally the quickest one is like, I used to say heal me, like healing myself, like healing all the healing properties, like everything in there. And then I just feel like it's like a light going inside of me. But to align, my frequencies inside. So I don't know how to explain it. So I could say that this water is going to heal whatever that needs to be healed from within.
Okay.
So that's the intention I can put in. And then, or normally I would just leave my water at night, like that lady taught me when I was 16.
Oh, so there was a process. Like, you leave it at night?
Yes.
Okay. So first you program it and then you leave it?
So I put it in a mug.
Okay.
And then, but before I go to bed, I can put my intentions and leave it in the fridge, or if I want it, warm. So I leave it there, and then every time I'm taking a glass, I also program it, like what I'm feeling at that moment. But the water is actually programmed over the night.
Oh. The
So
program
it's
is
like
settling in?
charging over the night. Yeah, it's charging over the night.
Okay, it's charging. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
It is water. It's healing. That's why that's why they have the holy water. That's why in all religion they have holy water, because water is alive. They give it to us when it's already half dead, whatever. So it's your job to make it alive. And so it goes inside of you when it's alive.
The living waters.
Otherwise, it's dead. It's just like drinking dead water, and it's not helping you in any
Right.
kind. You're just drinking because they told you to drink it.
And the water that we're just drinking, just to be drinking, without programming it,
It's dead.
does it still have information if it's dead?
It has information, but that's not your information.
Okay. It's
So
some other information.
yes. So it's another message. So do you want that message inside of you?
Mm.
Do you know what that message does to your body? You know, it's like, don't you want to have your own message?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if, when the water is running through the river, right, like in the mountain or somewhere, it's
Mm-hmm.
being programmed by the nature,
Okay.
you know? So every rock it touched, every, mountain it came through, the everything, all of that is kind of like elements and programs that we actually need, Those are the programs from the earth. So when it goes inside of us, then it becomes one because we are like the universe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when it comes through pipe, chlorine, every pipe it touched, every building is touched, the spring, everything, all of that also becomes you.
Ooh, yeah.
So do you want to be the chlorine? Do you want to be the pipe? Do you want to be the rock and the tree?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like what do you want running through your pipes? Like what running through your body, your vessel, your vehicle? What oil do you want in your engine? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like the juice, the water is like the juice, it has its own program. This orange juice has its own frequency and program, right?
Mm-hmm.
But same with water. That's what we are, water. We are made out of that. We're made out of that information.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever information that's on that liquid, it's the information that's walking around.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love it. So that became a form of manifestation. And was that before or after you watched The Secret?
That was before.
Right, right. Because you said you were like 11 or something when or around that time you met that lady?
When I met the lady, I was around 16.
16, okay. And she was 60.
She was 16. She looked very good. She was from Indonesia.
Yeah.
I always had questions, like, what do you do? Why are you here? What's this?
Yeah.
I always had that question. Because like I said, I raised myself, so I didn't have people to tell me stuff.
Yeah.
I had to learn by
Mm-hmm.
asking people questions like, what is this? What is that? And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she was 60.
There's a quote, you know this. It says, "Seek and ye shall find."
Mm-hmm.
You know that that questions are the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you met this lady at 16, I'm wondering, like, what does that say about your vibration at that time or your frequency at that time? Were you that you were already looking for answers? It seems like she was a manifestation in your life as well.
Yeah, she actually taught me more than just the water. She was into horoscopes and she was into that, kind of like the planetary alignments.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she taught me a lot actually, if I think
Mm-hmm.
about it. But I don't know, my interest wasn't um my interest wasn't there. I was just a kid,
Mm-hmm.
but I know anything that stays with me have just, changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
So her teachings, whatever, those little days that I was with her actually changed me. And she don't even know it, but that's the choices, part of the choices we make, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. So and the manifestation part,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good of a speaker, but I like to write. I'm a writer.
You don't think
So
you're a good speaker, Kamilla?
yeah, I actually don't, and it's, especially this is not my language, so I speak so many different languages. It's like my brain is thinking in different language and my mouth is saying something else. So it can be challenging sometimes. But I think, being a journalist also helped me find a lot of things, since I like questions
Mm-hmm.
and I like to find the answers. And
Mm-hmm.
so that has also helped me, I think, it's kind of like aligned with, I think I've been searching all my life. I've been searching all my life.
A seeker, a seeker,
Yeah.
for sure, for
So
sure. Mm-hmm.
writing down everything that I feel and want,
Mm-hmm.
like before The Secret, I used to write down everything.
Okay.
And I remember every gift that people gave me was a block, you know, like a notebook.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I'm sure you will need this, Kamilla. So they would give me a notebook. And I would just write lyrics. I can write anything I'm thinking about. I can write whatever I want. Like, for example, my whole education. The first time I decided to study, I was like, okay, this is how many points you need for a bachelor. I'm going to get it at this date.
Mm-hmm.
So I did write it down, and it did happen. Not a day later. Not a day later. You know, so I didn't know about the secret of writing down stuff in order for them to happen. But, you know, I didn't have anything better to do.
Mm-hmm.
So writing down everything I want helped me in my life. And sometimes I don't even know, because I can go back on my notebooks and, did I write that? You know?
Yeah. And you see that things turned out the way you wrote them. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. It's not a magic thing. You know, you actually create the miserable things in your life too. By just believing in them all the time and actually giving attention to them and believing like, okay, this, it can go wrong. There is nothing called wrong, you know. It's just in the head. It's just in the head.
That is such a wonderful tool. You know, when I think about the things that we write, there was a lady that told me, and I never forgot. She said, what gets written gets done. She said that.
Yeah, but it's true. True.
And you learned that. You said, it's like think and ink. You know, just don't think. Ink. Like, write it down, put it on paper.
Yeah.
And when you design it on paper, you achieve it on purpose.
It just happens because it's supposed to. And the only thing that's stopping is you, because you put in the blocks. The flow is already there, you know? The flow of life, everything, everything that you want and desire is already there. But you have, you know, they taught us to just put the blocks. You know, like, okay, this is your blessing, put a block. You know, be scared of it, you know, because you're not capable of, because somebody else haven't done it, or this. It's just like too much of nonsense. But we are capable of anything and everything we want, you know.
I agree. I believe that. I receive that.
Yeah. Once, you know, and expectations are another one, you know, when you expect too much. I never expect anything. It's just like, you know, if you're going to have expectations, then you got to expect both sides, you know, the good and the bad, you know, like this can happen and that can happen. But if you just go for one side and you just expect the most spectacular thing, you know, like then it goes down and then you disappoint yourself, you know.
Yeah, they do. They do say expectation is like the root of all suffering.
It is.
Expectation, the things that we expect. Yeah.
They are the reasons for all the fuck ups, you know.
And I like how you put it too, Nabiha. You said if you're gonna expect like the pendulum to swing 5 inches to the left, then you better expect that it's gonna swing back to the right, right?
Yes, it's all about accepting, and it's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's okay, you know.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
When we make things like problem don't exist until you actually make them, you know, into problems, because problems exist for a solution. You know, there's a solution, there's a problem, you know. So instead of like dwelling on the problem, try to find a solution, you know. But yeah, we are nurtured and tamed differently.
So you said acceptance, being able to accept what you expect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Accept that failure can happen. It's fine, you know. Just like, don't get surprised. What would you be surprised?
Yeah.
You know, anything is possible. If you're actually expecting the good, expect the bad too, you know. But just like, don't lean on one. It's like, it's balance, you know.
Balance.
Yes.
Balance. Do not be swayed so far for one or the other.
No.
Okay.
If life was about two things, I would say it's choices and balance.
Okay.
Choices and balance. When you choose something, you know, you need to balance it as well. You can't go on up here or down there. You know, you have to balance.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, you know, your energies within yourself, you have to balance them too. Like you can't be too masculine and too feminine, or you know, or you have to actually accept that it isn't masculine and feminine energy within you, right? Once you accept it, then you have to align it.
Mm-hmm.
And aligning, you have to maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like a, you know, you can go this way, can go that way, because we are in life, you know, we are in the show of life. So we have all the obstacles around us. So you have to balance it.
Mm-hmm.
It goes this way, you know, you feel this way and this, but it's just about balance.
Yeah. Wow. So to accept it, you have to align it. To align it, you have to maintain it. And to maintain it, you have to sustain it. It's like it just keeps going. That
Yeah.
balance.
Mm-hmm. And then you have to come to a point where you actually, you know, on that balance,
Mm-hmm.
you don't get off, you know.
Mm.
But while you're climbing, you have to. That's
Mm-hmm.
just journey of life, literally.
You
Negative and
actually put
positive,
that.
you have to align it. You know, positive,
Uh-huh.
negative. You know, you can't just have positive days all the time. That would be boring after a while. You know, you gotta have a little bit of, you know, something. You
Mm-hmm.
know, day and night, same
Yeah.
thing. You know, you can't have day all the time. It has to be a night.
Right.
You know,
Right.
balance.
I agree. It's like they say, what variety? The variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
You know, we
And
have.
that's what humans should be also, you know. We all so different. And that's what makes it so unique. But if we say like everybody has to be alike, that's when the problem starts.
Mm.
You know, you think you're lacking because you're not like the other person, and this person is competing with this because of, you know, while you're competing here, you could have done this, you know, so many things. But, you know, we have to accept the uniqueness of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can work towards a greater thing, because if everybody's doing the same thing, it's just what are we working towards?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like with more of that comparison and competition becomes more of that expectation, you know, of who you
Yeah.
think you should be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. You don't need to be anything. You just gotta be, you know.
I gotta be me. I gotta be
You
me,
gotta be,
baby.
you know. Just be, you know. Just be and let me be me, and I'll let
Yes.
you be you, you know.
Yes.
And then let's create magic, because we're capable, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We are
Yeah.
so capable of creating magic, but too many of us are asleep
Mm-hmm.
to actually realize the potential that they have, you know. It's not even like realizing anything else. It's just like realize yourself, you know. Remember yourself. Know, like, okay, you're capable.
Remember. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Return.
And no one
Return.
else knows better than you, you know. It's just that, you know, that maybe I came across this before you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I know better than you. It's not that I know more than you. It's just like I came across before you, and now you're here, you know.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
Yeah, that's all
Yeah.
it is.
And we can pass that on to others.
Of
Yeah.
course, of course, you know. It's just when actually the way you pass on stuff, I believe, like, as long as you live your truth, you know, it helps another person to find their truth.
Mm. Say that again. Please say that again. Come on, Kamilla.
As long as you live your truth, it helps another person to find themselves and live their truth.
Oh, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I mean right here. These are the moments, you know? Like that was such a mess. That hit me. Oh man. I needed that. I needed that. Thank you.
You're doing it so well, you know? You're doing it so well. You live your truth, you know? I'm trying to live my truth,
Mm.
you know, by
Mm-hmm.
finding my truth. You know, it's not something to find or anything like that. It's just, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to be me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or less of the things that we were told to do. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do I have to lose? What do you have to lose by just living your truth?
Right. Right.
Yeah, nothing. Instead of sitting around and waiting for death, I rather I rather want to just work on myself, puzzle the pieces.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I
This
remember
journey
I
is-
was.
Hmm?
Go ahead. Say what?
No, I forgot. So just go ahead.
Yeah. No, you said instead of waiting for death. Like I remember, I was riding the bus, and I remember hearing somebody in the back saying, "I want to live while I'm alive," or something like that. You
Yeah.
know, and it just occurred, like when he said that, it didn't make sense in the moment. I want to live while I'm alive, but then it made sense later on. It was like, yeah, instead of just waiting for death, you
Mhm.
know, I want to live while I'm alive. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard something like that once, and I was like, what do they mean?
yeah.
There was the older guy, and then
Mhm.
this lady said, I think he passed, and she said, but I think he was dead from he was 20. She said he didn't
Well,
live here. He was just here. She said,
yeah, too,
so
too,
you can actually be dead walking around here. That's true. That's
too.
true. But if you want to live,
Mhm.
um, Arika Badu said in one of her songs, she said, I want to be here.
Mhm.
I don't want to time travel. I want to be here. So
Mhm.
meaning like, in your head, like sometimes, you're all over the place, but sometimes you just got to be here,
Mhm.
in the now.
Yeah,
That's where everything is happening. Everything is happening in the now.
right now.
Yeah, that's what I've learned is that everything is happening just right now. A minute ago was just a minute ago. Yesterday was yesterday.
Mhm.
Tomorrow is created today.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yesterday is created today because whatever outcome you have, whatever you create today will become tomorrow and it will become yesterday. It's just now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everything else is now.
I agree. I love the saying. It's like there are 2 days out of the year where nothing can be done. Yesterday and tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Tomorrow it don't even exist.
They don't exist. You're right.
Don't even exist. In our
Yeah.
head they do. They
Mhm.
do. It's like I see you tomorrow.
Mm.
Today. It's today.
Today. Yeah. Yeah.
It's today. It's always today. There's no tomorrow.
Wow.
But your yesterdays are the outcome of today.
Mm.
You know, they are. It's like whatever you do today is like I can say, "Oh, I had a beautiful day yesterday," and this is because I did a beautiful thing in that moment.
Mhm. Mhm.
I created it. You know,
Right.
so then it became like a positive, outcome where I can retell the positiveness. Like, oh, yesterday
Mhm.
was a good day. Blah 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 blah. Then that yesterday is good,
Yeah. Mm.
but it was just created in the now.
Right.
It wasn't that I visited yesterday and I did something yesterday and came back. It's just I created right here.
Right. Right.
It's just
Yeah.
now,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know.
I love how you take ownership, Kamilla, of that. Because Charles Buxton, there was a saying, he said, you know how we say like, oh, I don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that, you know? Like, I don't have time. I don't have enough time. Maybe when I have more time.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you will never find time for anything.
Mm-mm.
He said, to have time, you must make it. And
Created.
like you just said, you create it. It's something that you made. You created in that now moment. You made the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I can achieve so many things in my 24 hours. Well, somebody else maybe have achieved one thing, right? There's nothing wrong with it because they maybe have used all of that time to just, rest,
Mm.
you know. But the time I had, I just chose to do those things. But it doesn't mean I had, more hours than you had.
Right.
We had the same hours. You just made different choices.
Right.
And then that can make the time smaller for you sometimes, like you don't have enough time and, oh, I have to make time for this. I have to make that. You don't have to make anything. You just, maintain the time that you have, you have 24 hours from it gets light to dark, and the choices that you make in between that is the outcome of it.
Yeah.
So there's no time to chase. There's no time to go back to, you just have to use what you got.
Yeah.
Right in the now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kamilla, thank you so much for using this time to be with us today. Thank you for taking the time, for spending the time, for making the time, for creating the time. And I just want to honor your time right now and just say that I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. There were so many questions I had we didn't even get to because it just flowed so effortlessly.
I hope I didn't
I
just
feel like we can just
overtalk.
keep going.
Yeah, I was so nervous. I don't know why I'm always nervous, but I was so nervous. I was like, you know what? My mission today is to stay on topic. Okay? I know I went off here and there, but my mission was to stay on topic. I'm more of a writer than talker.
Oh, it flowed like water. It flowed like water, the path of least resistance. We just went. We go where it flows. Yeah. Yeah. And you already know. You have it all within you. I don't feel like that nervousness energy coming off of you. I always feel a sense of curiosity, a sense of inquisitiveness, and a deep intuitive sense of knowing. When I talk to you, I just feel like you know so much,
Oh.
and that's, yeah. I just enjoy it. I enjoy all of our interactions.
Same here. We all know, we all know. I don't feel like I know, but I know that whatever I'm looking for is just, in here. Yeah. And if you really, and the only thing that is blocking me is also here. It's like both of them is just in here. It's like, oh my God, I'm balancing it out, I'm blocking myself, and it's like but one thing I really want to tell people is, please don't tell yourself you cannot do anything.
Yes.
And don't tell yourself you have anything negative, like say like diseases or anything like that. Just don't accept it. It's the acceptance that creates stuff. Accepting you're dumb, yes, you are. Accepting that you're gonna starve without food, yes, you are. Like everything you accept, you're just gonna become, and it's just gonna be reality. I'm not gonna tell you that, hey, if you fast and you don't eat, you're not gonna die. If you believe, you are. Okay. If you really believe that you can die without, your pills that your doctor gave you, you will. Okay. So it's the belief in everything. Yeah. Everything you believe, it just happens because you are the creator. Why create miserable things for yourself? So think the opposite. Even if whatever it takes, whatever it takes.
I agree.
I am capable. You are capable.
We are. It's like we keep what we claim. We keep what we claim. The things that we claim, this is mine, or the running story, the running narrative that you claim, that's what you keep. Like that's what you have. Yeah. It's like Les Brown, one of the motivational speakers that really impacted my life. Les Brown, he said, if you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them.
I love Les Brown.
Yeah. And
he was the one that actually, also, the first time I heard, he said his teacher told him he was dumb, that he will never be able to do anything, right?
Right.
Yeah. Right. Imagine that. Somebody actually telling you, hey, you are not capable of doing this, you are dumb. That person must be very dumb. The person saying it must be very dumb, because that comes from a place of insecurity itself, because of things that comes out of you, it's because of you are, And for somebody to say like, hey, you are dumb, you're not able to do this, you know. It's just, you know, you are a very miserable person, you know. I know everything I tell someone, even when I was a kid, everything I tell somebody, I know that's going to reshape them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could feel like if I say something like bad to somebody out of anger and stuff, I know that that
Yeah.
thing is going to go into that person and maybe make them something, you know, make them feel some certain way. Maybe it will scar them forever,
Yeah.
which it does, you know. So always be careful with your words,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Always be careful with your words. It shape people, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really makes them who they are. At least give them like words of encouragement, you know, in hope of that shaping them in the future, you know, even if it's a lie. Even if it's a lie, you know, you'll create them. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Words have so much power, you know?
they do.
Yeah. And
That's,
like you said, what's on the inside is going to show up on the outside.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So if you're a miserable person, I can give you two examples, you know. Um, if you get up in the morning, you go into a cafe, for example, or somewhere, you know, um, if you have like a nasty energy within you, you project it onto the world, you know. There was a day this guy walked in the cafe and he was just, you know, being racist and everything.
Yeah.
And the only thing I was thinking about is like, in order for me to just get up from my bed and feel so much anger towards other people, there must be really something wrong with me. You know, it must be really deep down, like it must be something really wrong for me to just get up and be like, oh, you know what, I'm going to be mean to these people today. You know, something really must be wrong with me, you know. So in order for you to I don't even know what I was talking about, but what I mean, like, for you to feel something, whatever you're doing on the outside is something that you feel on the inside, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So you have to find that within yourself, like, okay, that evilness and everything is inside of you. You project it onto the world, you know. So everything needs to be worked from within.
So I guess we can also put that in the reverse. You know, if it is so on the negative, then it can also be so for the positive.
Of
You know.
course, but it's not like we just don't have that force like we
Okay.
have for the evilness, like, you know, for kindness. For some
Mm-hmm.
weird reason, we just don't have that. Like, nobody's just walking around saying, you know, beautiful things to people. But it's easier to just walk around and, you know, shout and be angry,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But since it's easier to be angry, I think it's because of, you know, something within it's just disturbing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and just burst out like, just scream. But if we could just be out there and say kind stuff to people, wouldn't that change somebody's life? You know, you just walk in a cafe and say like, oh, you know, your smile is beautiful. That person will walk around and it changes their day. You know, you have the ability to do that.
Absolutely.
You do.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, if there can be random acts of violence, there must be able to be random acts of kindness. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not as often as we would want to. You know, it's not as often because, you know, I know a lot of people that say bad things to people more than kind stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when it's kind, you always keep it to yourself because, you know, you're too shy to say something. You don't want to say something. You know,
And why do we do that?
that's because of, you know, we are human beings.
That we would want to keep kindness, like we can hold it in, you know?
When you have so much kindness in you, you know the truth of happiness. You will actually admit it out there. You just give it to people. You say it out loud. But once you're in between, you'll
Mm-hmm.
keep it to yourself because you're
Okay.
uncertain about the power of it. You know, you're uncertain about, you know, what you're feeling, if it's right or not. Even though it makes you feel good, we're just not brave enough to maybe go out there. But when you are fearless, is when you actually know the power of it.
Mm. Okay.
When it actually radiates out of you. You know, I don't have any problem saying someone is beautiful, or you have a, you know, you have a beautiful, nice smile, or
I've seen you do it. I've actually seen you do it all the time. There's been you know, Instagram has a funny way of notifying you whenever one of your friends has commented on somebody else's body of work. And so I see a lot of your comments sprinkled around in our circles on other people's pages, you know? And you've done the same with me. Like you've even had paragraphs where you've put something that you've contemplated through one of the creations that is on my content, and you've gone out of your way to put positive energy, not only into my, you know, my presence, but others. Yeah.
Yeah, wherever you feel like, you know, it's your place, it's your place.
Yeah.
You know, we in this together. So for me, it's, I wish everybody just knew their worth, you know, of what they're capable of, because we wouldn't even have problems, you know. If everybody knew, how amazing would that be? You know, if everybody could be like, oh, you know what, I'm capable of doing great things. Because majority think like they're alone, they're ashamed, you know, because we live in a world like that, you know. Because even on this, you know, pranic journey, it's a lot of people, it's a lot of guilt in it, you know. When you eat, you're like, oh, I ate and I feel this. No, it's part of the journey, you know. Part of the journey is actually accepting a lot of those things, accepting that you can eat, accepting that you cannot eat, accepting that you want and you don't want, you know. It's about the acceptance. But if you just put it as another thing to do, and it's like, oh, this path, and I need to do this way, and I can't drink, I can't eat, then it becomes like a worldly stuff again. You're just making the worldly thing, you know. So it's all about just going with the flow. When people ask me like, but what should I do? I say, you know, do you want to eat? Eat. Do you want to drink? Drink, you know? Yeah. If you don't want to, you don't want to. So the choice is up to you. Like you're making a choice. I don't want to eat today, or I don't want to eat for 2 days. You know, it's a choice. It's not an assignment that you have to do. It's not that. It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice, you know. So feeling guilty about the choice, then let go of it. You know, if you're gonna feel guilty about actually going through it, then it's not for you, because you actually have to let go of that. It's part of letting go of the guilt. It's part of like, you're human being. You're supposed to. We came here to eat and to do things that we didn't come here for that, but that's what we do. So once you find out your true nature, you know, you can't feel guilty about the other nature that you were, you know, raised in. So it's part of the journey. No guilt, nothing, just flow.
Yeah.
And be.
Just flow and glow and keep growing. Yeah. Keep growing, keep going.
Yep. Okay, I'm not gonna hold you back.
Much love, much love. You're good, you're good. I enjoyed this so much. And thank you once again for thank you for showing up, and just thank you for choosing today. Really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, Jerome. It's always nice talking to you. And yeah.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye. Awesome. Wonderful. Thank y'all for joining. Appreciate you, and take care.